They cheated on you and you found out. And in that one moment, everything that you thought was real stopped being real. Not just the relationship, but everything. Your memories, your judgment, your ability to trust what you see and feel and believe, all of it, suddenly unreliable. And now, days later, weeks later, maybe even months and years later, your brain will not stop. It replays the moment you found out. It replays the lies, it replays the times that you almost knew but talked yourself out of knowing. It replays every conversation looking for the clue that you might have missed. You're exhausted. I see you. And I know that you want this to stop, but it's just not stopping. I'm so sorry if you are in a situation like this. But if you are, then this video is going to tell you exactly why and what this means. So here's the first thing that I need you to understand. Your brain replaying the betrayal over and over again is not weakness. It is not obsession. It is not you being unable to move on. It is your brain doing exactly what it is built to do. When something happens that completely contradicts everything you believe to be true, your brain goes into what psychologists call a threat response. It treats the betrayal like a physical danger, like something that needs to be solved immediately to keep you safe. And because it cannot solve it, because there is no logical answer that makes what happens make sense, it keeps going back to it, searching, replaying, trying to find the missing piece that will finally make it all add up, if you know what I mean. Your brain is not torturing you on purpose, I can tell you that. It is just trying to protect you from ever being blindsided like this again. But here is the cruel part. The more you replay it, the more your brain reinforces the neural pathway connected to that memory. So every single time you go back to it, every time you reread the messages, every time you replay that conversation, every time you look at their social media, you're making that memory even stronger, more vivid, more present, more impossible to escape. You're not healing by replaying it, you are reinforcing it, and your brain cannot tell the difference between the two. And then there is this one thing that nobody talks about. It is not just the cheating that breaks you, it is the rewriting of your own story. Every good memory that you have of that relationship now has a question mark on it. Every moment you felt safe or loved or chosen, you now have to go back and ask, was that real? Was any of it real? Or was I the only one in the relationship the entire time? That is a specific kind of grief that has no name. You're not just grieving the relationship, you're grieving your own reality, the version of events you lived through that you now have to completely dismantle and rebuild from scratch. And on top of all of that, you're angry, not just at them, but at yourself for not seeing it, for trusting and being that wrong about who they were. That self-directed anger is one of the most damaging parts of betrayal, and almost nobody talks about it. Because from the outside, it looks like you're just sad about a relationship ending. But from the inside, it feels like a fundamental failure of your own judgment. Like you just cannot trust yourself anymore. Like if you were that wrong about this, what else have you been wrong about in life? So now that we've established what has happened and it is in the past, it's been done, what do you do with all of this? This constant replaying of the same memory over and over again. The first thing, and I mean the very first thing before anything else, is to stop treating the replaying as a problem. The replaying is not the problem. The replaying is a symptom. And the only way to reduce the symptom is to address what is underneath it. And what is underneath is this. Your sense of reality was completely shattered, and your brain will not rest until it feels safe again. I'm not talking about at peace. I'm talking about just feeling safe again. Not happy, not healed, just safe. So instead of fighting and replaying, instead of telling yourself to stop thinking about it, to get over it, to move on, ask yourself one question every single time the replay starts to happen in your brain. Your question is, what do I need to do to feel even 1% safer than I did a moment ago? Not tomorrow, not in a week, right now, in this moment. What is that one thing, however small it may be, that reminds you that you're safe, that you are real, and that you exist outside of what they did to you? It could be calling someone that you trust. It might be getting up and making something warm to drink. It might be sitting outside on the patio. Or it just might be walking barefoot on the grass for 5 minutes just to feel the ground underneath your feet. I'm not saying this is a cure. I'm not saying this is a fix. But it is your brain getting one small signal that the threat has passed, it's over. And with just enough of those small signals every day, the replaying begins to lose its grip. Look, being cheated on does not mean that you were not enough. It does not mean you missed something that you should have seen. It does not mean that your love was wrong or your trust was stupid or your judgment was broken. It means that you loved someone fully, wholeheartedly, truly, madly, deeply, and they were not able to honor that. That is a reflection of who they are, not who you are. And if you want to hear this from someone, I'm going to tell you this right now. Your brain will let this go. Not all at once, not on a timeline that feels fair or reasonable or that particular, closure that we're all looking for, but it will. Every single person who has ever been through this has had a day, usually a completely ordinary one, an unremarkable day, where they actually realized that they had gone a few hours without thinking about it or without replaying it. And then a few more, and then longer. That day is coming for you too. You're not going to be like this forever. You are just processing what has happened to you. And there's a profound difference between the two. If you're someone who's been through a heartbreak or betrayal or you've been cheated on, drop one word in the comments right now that describes exactly how you're feeling today. You don't have to explain anything, just name what you're feeling, name that feeling. Because naming what you're carrying is the first step to putting it down for good. Keep telling yourself that. It's very difficult to squeeze in all of this in one video, so I have broken this up in 3 parts. Part 2 of this series is coming very soon, and it goes even deeper. Do join me for part 2. I'm going to see you guys in the next one.